Hello, everyone. This is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts and from Colossal Fossils. Today, we're going to be doing a this is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 172. We're going to be talking about a herbivorous dinosaur, and that dinosaur is Centrosaurus. So, this is a possibility of what Centrosaurus possibly looked like. This is a beautiful image. Some information about Centrosaurus. The name Centrosaurus means point lizard. Length can be 18 feet or 5.5 meters. Height at 6 feet or 1.8 meters. Weight 6,000 pounds. Lived 76.5 to 75.5 million years ago in the late Cretaceous period. And fossils are found in Canada and was described by Lamb in 1904. So Centrosaurus has been around for a long time. So Centrosaurus has been around for a long time. So if we look in the map on the upper left corner, here's the map of Canada, and the fossils of Centrosaurus are mostly found in Alberta. So this is where they're mostly going to be found, especially in Dinosaur Provincial Park. That's where a lot of Centrosaurus fossils have been found. And on the top here, near the right, you can see the size chart of Centrosaurus. So it is tall as a full-grown man, and so yeah, and it's got some pretty cool features right here, which I'll talk about in a minute. And on the bottom right here, here's the skeletal drawing of Centrosaurus right there, and yeah, that's actually a pretty neat specimen. There has been some complete specimens, so that is very, very cool that some Centrosaurus fossils have been found complete. More information about Centrosaurus. So Centrosaurus belongs to a group of dinosaurs called Ceratopsidae or Ceratopsians, and it's in the subfamily called the Centrosaurinae, and then its tribe is the Centrosaurini. I kind of misspelled this a little bit. I apologize for that. But Centrosaurus, the characteristics of it has a straight nasal horn. So it has a straight horn, does not have that much of a curvature towards the horn. There are some subspecies of Centrosaurus that do have a little bit of a curvature on the horn, kind of pointing forward a bit more, but yeah, you get the idea of what Centrosaurus is. There are also holes on the frill of Centrosaurus, so it's not like Triceratops by any means, where it's a solid bone frill, where you have holes on the frill for probably having some skin covering those holes. So those were not used for defensive purposes. Those were for display purposes. So the frill was meant for display, not for defense. And of course, on the frill, you have two spikes that curve downward, and those would actually be the ones that are kind of closest to the actual top of the frill. Then you also have two spikes that curve upward on the frill as well. So it kind of has this weird looking spike, or yeah, weird spike pattern on the top of the frill. And of course, Centrosaurus lived in large herds, so we have found multiple specimens together. And in the Dinosaur Provincial Park, a very famous site has found, I believe, over 20 individuals in one site. So that is a pretty large herd. And there are some ceratopsians that did live in herds, and there are some that did not. So, like Triceratops probably mostly lived alone or otherwise lived in small groups, whereas, like, say, Styracosaurus, Pachyrhinosaurus, and Centrosaurus lived in large herds. And of course, like all ceratopsians, Centrosaurus is a herbivore. The environment in where Centrosaurus lived in, it was warm and humid in the summers, but also was cold and dry in the winters. So there was cold, dry winters that actually happened in Canada at that point in time. So a very temperate climate. And you have a bunch of ferns, cycads, trees, and flowers. No grass in the time of the dinosaurs as well. So there was no grass. And of course, you have rivers, lakes, and ponds, and also the Western Interior Seaway. So Centrosaurus probably lived pretty close to swampy areas that were kind of pretty close to the Western Interior Seaway, and that sort of thing. And there were other types of animals around Centrosaurus, like insects, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, birds, even pterosaurs, and of course other types of dinosaurs. Now, Centrosaurus would have predators. One of those predators is Gorgosaurus. Gorgosaurus was around during that time, around 76 and 75 million years ago. And so that would have probably been one of those predators. And there's a possibility Daspletosaurus might have been a predator to Centrosaurus. Or it's more likely that Daspletosaurus might actually be the main predator of Centrosaurus, because Daspletosaurus is kind of built a little bit more muscular compared to Gorgosaurus. Gorgosaurus was more of a speedy type of Tyrannosaurus, so you would probably have Daspletosaurus more likely going after Centrosaurus a bit more. But Daspletosaurus fossils are mostly found in the northern parts of the United, but basically like Montana and some parts of Wyoming. But there has been Daspletosaurus fossils found in Alberta, and so yeah, so Gorgosaurus and Daspletosaurus were the main predators of Centrosaurus. The extinction of Centrosaurus is mostly due to climate change. The climate did get warmer, so there were not that much temperate seasons for those types of dinosaurs that were used to that kind of weather, where they had warm and humid summers and colder, drier winters. So the climate became a little bit more like wet and dry a little bit later on in the Cretaceous period. And of course the plants changed, and so that pretty much was near the end of Centrosaurus. And of course there was other competition from ceratopsians. So the ceratopsians were everywhere in the western part of North America, and so like Pachyrhinosaurus, Styracosaurus, even Chasmosaurus were pretty much big competitors to Centrosaurus, and so Centrosaurus did have competition from other ceratopsians. Here's a map of North America and what it looked like 75 million years ago. And you can see where Alberta is. You see where the Western Interior Seaway is, and you can probably guess where Centrosaurus fossils have been found. And so it's going to be right near the shore of the Western Interior Seaway. So that's where you're going to find a lot of Centrosaurus fossils in North America, especially in Alberta, Canada. The next episode of Prehistoric Facts will be on June 17th, 2021. There'll be a Q&A episode, so if you got any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, by emailing me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or just go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with DinoChris. Like the page, you actually post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. And so, yeah, just please put them in the comment section. And for you YouTubers out there, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stomp on that bell so that way you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out. And also, feel free to put your questions in the comments section, because I do read them all, and your questions do matter, and you'll get a shout out in a Q&A episode. And remember, keep your questions short to the point, and also try to make sure you at least do 2 to 3 questions. That way I can actually read them a lot better, and because if you give me a boatload of questions at once, I cannot read them all, and so those will probably get saved for another Q&A episode later down the line. But yeah, so make sure you keep your questions at minimum, and all that sort of stuff. But also keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.crits.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. It's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of people around you. Notice if you're younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have good education. It's really good education. Get a good job in the future. And also in this kind of time, wear a mask if you're not vaccinated. Also, hands, and make sure you guys do get vaccinated, because it's very important that we reduce the spread of the virus, and that way we can actually be vaccinated and have things near normal in the future. And also feel free to check out Colossal Fossils. I'll put a link in the description down below, and also put links to research on Centrosaurus in the description as well. And I want to thank you guys for putting in donations to Colossal Fossils. So if you still want to donate, please hit the donate tab and donate as much as you want to Colossal Fossils, so that way you get some pretty cool exhibits. We got some pretty neat things happening this summer, so we're going to start traveling, and yeah, hopefully if you do make it out to Wisconsin and you see where Colossal Fossils is going to be, please feel free to check it out on the Facebook page, Colossal Fossils. so that way you can keep up to date with colossal fossils. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.